Hi everyone, welcome to another video by Maths with Sarah. So today we're going to be taking a look at this GCSE Maths question. So this question is taken from a paper 3 right at the back of the paper. So it's definitely a pretty challenging question. However, I think one of the most difficult things about this question is actually the volume of information that they've given you, which just makes it a little bit more complicated than some of the other questions. So it's a probability question. We've been told that we've got a bag with 30 discs in it. 10 of them are red and 20 of them are blue. One disc is taken out at random and replaced by 2 of the other colour. Then another disc is taken out at random, again replaced by 2 of the other colour, and then a third disc is taken out. And they've asked us to work out the probability that all 3 of the discs that are taken out are red. So the question is a complicated one, and I think a lot of what makes this complicated is understanding exactly what it's asking you. So as with all of these, I encourage you to pause the video about now, have a go yourself, just take your time to read through the information, work out what it is that it's asking you to do and how you think will be the best way of doing it. And then if you check back, then I will go through the answer. Okay, so let's get started. So we can draw a probability tree of this diagram. Now we don't actually need to put in all the information because that would make it a huge complicated tree, but we'll definitely put in a fair amount of the information. I'm just going to undo what I've done because I'm going to run out of space really quickly. So let's look. So the probability of disc number 1, we need to know the probability of it being red or the probability of it being blue. Now, as it turns out, we're not actually that interested. So the probability that the disc is red is the only one that we're interested in. We don't actually need to know what the probability is of it being blue, because all we want to know is the probability that all 3 discs are red. So for the first one, we've been told that 10 out of the 30 discs are red. So we can say this is the same as 10 over 30, which of course is the same as 1 over 3, which makes it a little bit easier. So then let's look at the second time. So the first time we've got 30 discs, 10 of them are red, so we know that that's the third probability. The probability of the first disc being red is a third. So let's look at the second disc. What's happening now? So again, the probability that the second disc is red, we'll take that as this one. What is that going to be? So what we've been told is that 1 disc is taken out at random, that one, probability of it being red is a third, and then it's replaced by 2 of the other colour. Okay, so in this case, 1 red disc has been taken out. So we started off with 30 discs. 1 red disc has been taken out, and then 2 blue discs have been put back in. So we now have 31 discs. So we had 29, then we've added 2, so then we've got 31 discs. And of those, we started off with 10 that were red. We've taken out 1 red one, so we now have 9 discs remaining. Sorry, 9 red discs remaining. So we've got 9 over 31 is the probability of the second disc that we pull out being red. Now we've got to do this a third time. So on the third time, we now have probability of the disc being red. So how many discs have we got? Well, as from before, we had 31. We've removed 1 red disc, and then because we're adding 2 of the other colour, we're then adding 2 blue discs. So now we've got 32 discs, of which 8 of them are red. And if you notice, both of these can be divided by 8, so that's the same as 1/4. So 1/4 of the discs are red. Okay, so now we have the 3 probabilities that we need. We needed the probability the first disc is red, the second disc is red, and the third disc is red. So all 3 of these discs, this is the probability that all 3 of the discs are going to turn out red. So to work that out, we need to do 1/3 times by 9/31 times by 1/4. And if we work that out, we end up with a slightly complicated fraction that can be simplified to 3/124. Okay, so this is the final answer here. This is the probability that all three of the discs that were pulled out of the bag are red. Now, you'll notice that I've started off by doing a tree diagram and I haven't filled in the other branches. Obviously, you could go and fill out all the other branches, but it just isn't necessary for this question, which is why I haven't done it. And also it just sort of overcomplicates it a little bit, which you don't need for a question like this. The other thing, if you wanted to, you could have left these so that you could have left this as 10/30 and this one as 8/32. I've just simplified them to make it a little bit easier to do the multiplying. So that's absolutely fine to leave them as they are. Obviously, you don't actually need to necessarily draw a tree diagram. If you just can work out what each of the probabilities of the red ones are, then that's absolutely fine. I just found it easier to visualize when I drew a tree diagram. So that's why I drew one out here. So hopefully this all made sense. It is a complicated question, but as I said before, the actual mechanics of the actual way of working out, the method isn't difficult. It's understanding exactly the information that the question is giving you, which is the bit that's most complicated, I think. So hopefully that made sense. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you back soon for another video by Maths with Sarah.